Hello and welcome to another part of Let's Play Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. I forgot what part number this is. I recorded and edited this over a week ago, and I was going to do the post-commentary. I'm doing post-commentary on this because I made a mistake of thinking post-commentary would end up being better, but thinking about it now, well, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about demon negotiation. Don't worry, we'll get to it. I hate it. I'm just gonna... I think from this point onward, like after this part in the future, I am really honestly just going to stop giving away so much stuff for probably mediocre demons. Like, I was getting so desperate for fusion material, but I think the amount of... Like, I gave away a, I forgot what I gave away. It was like a really good item and I gave it away, and then the demon ended up running away. And I could bitch about it here, but I shouldn't have given that away to begin with. Oh, a bead. I think I gave away a bead. Anyway, here, I went to the wrong location. I thought after the previous part we had to come back to Nyx's Lounge, but I was wrong. I figured while I was in Ginza, I'd fuse a new demon. I thought doing this post would give me a lot more things to talk about, but just watching a quiet video, it's really hard to commentate on without anything super spectacular going on, so I'm just going to go back to just live commentary. Yeah, here we are in the Shio Dome. It's, as you saw earlier, it's to the south of Ginza. This is where you're actually supposed to go. So I guess we are kind of working for the mantra, or maybe our goals just happen to align. Because I thought you choose between Nihilo or mantra, either for law or chaos, but that may not be the case, or maybe that happens, like, much later. As we're gonna see later, it was a mistake to equip that Magatama. I don't remember a lot of this footage, but I do remember that you don't want to be weak to force in this upcoming dungeon. What's even the point of that? What's the point of putting an empty cash cube? Unless the idea is the demons... They already mentioned that they took all the treasure, so I guess it's playing off of that. But still, it is massively disappointing for an RPG fan to just open up a treasure chest. And you know what? It beats opening up a cash cube for like death to pop out and your entire party's at 1 HP. I don't know if that can actually happen in this game, but I remember seeing footage of the original Persona on PS1, and there would be like poison chests. You would just open them and you'd take damage. So I assume that's a thing in SMT3 as well. I wonder if Hidri and Hikawa are going to be related in some way. If I remember Hikawa correctly, the two do look pretty similar. Not to mention, Hidri's the one who gave us the Occult magazine at the beginning of the game. Yes, I have to see Nocturne to the end. I did almost consider just outright stopping this Let's Play and just playing this game on my own, but I'm hoping there will be more to talk about later. And it's not that Nocturne is so bad or so boring that there's nothing to talk about. It's just so combat focused, it's hard for a noob like me, if anyone even uses that word still. It's hard for someone who doesn't know that much about the game, despite trying to act like he does, but to really talk about what's going on, like someone who knows what's going on could easily tell you best strategies against certain demon comp teams. But, like, I think it's easy enough to beat most of them without knowing. It just takes some strategizing. Which is something I do like out of the random battles in this game, is that they're not so easy that they're a cakewalk and you wonder what the point is beyond grinding. But they're also, well, some of them are kind of so difficult that you just sort of have to leave the dungeon, heal up, and then come back, but you lose all your progress in the dungeon. And, oh, that's pretty much the theme of this part. Anyway, this battle is really nothing special. Start with our buffs and debuffs, baby. I do end up overdoing it. I don't think you need to use this much buffing and debuffing on these enemies. Like, it's not that they're super easy. Like, it's not that they're super easy, but you don't have to waste this much energy on them. Watching these back, I can see how I can strategize better and more conserve MP. You want to avoid Evil Gaze as much as possible. We'll see what that ability does later into the part, but I don't know what time. I end up editing out most of the menu whenever I go into it, but I was in such a rush editing, it looks like I missed probably a couple. This is why you should always watch the video back to make sure. Learn from my mistakes. I make plenty of them. My mistakes have to be useful somehow. Also, Aromatama. This is going to be a very useful demon this part. So is Kikiri Hime. Joke's on you. This is another part where I didn't die. I get real damn close to it, though. This dungeon is a spoopy. There's a certain Magatama I'm going to be equipping later on, and I can't say it's the best one to use here, but I would personally recommend it. The Magatama I'm talking about, I forget the name of it. It's the one that makes you immune to mind and nerve? I believe it makes you immune to mind and nerve. Basically just... I remember there being a lot of status effects in this dungeon, so I recommend that one. I recommend not picking any of the ones that make you weak to an element, because I believe all of the elements are used in this dungeon somewhere. See, sometimes you have to put your foot down and just be like, hey, these are important items, and you're not worth it. With that little Maka, I shouldn't have even given him the Maka either. As you've probably been seeing throughout this video, the entire gimmick of this dungeon is flipping switches to get the blocks to move, to get the gateways, or the paths in ways that allow you to get to the top of the screen. This is something that took me a little too long to realize. It's really not that hard or even complicated. When I first saw this dungeon, I thought this was going to be such a hassle, and it is, but not due to the puzzles. I thought the puzzling was going to be more aggravating than it actually turned out to be. It's actually perfectly serviceable. It's mostly just the demons will just damage you a lot, so you end up having to leave the dungeon. But that could just be me coming in unprepared, because admittedly I didn't have a lot of Maka, as you saw when I was negotiating with Fornius. And due to not having a lot of Maka, I couldn't really buy medicine or status ailment healing items. I recommend coming into this dungeon prepared. Don't be like me, kids. Here's where being weak to force is really going to hurt me. I could have seriously died had the enemies have solo targeted me there. Thankfully, that's not the case. So are these things voice activated? Because it looks like all he's doing is just shouting at them. Bleh. I don't understand the design of the starfish demons. Shin Megami Tensei actually has a lot of really good designs. I believe I've mentioned I like the demi-fiend's design. A lot of the demons, I believe, are inspired by mythology just from around the world. But they come up with a lot of creative and cool-looking designs based off all those mythologies, but I don't understand ones like just the starfish ones. There's quite a few starfish ones. It's weird. Aramatama actually ends up being really good in this dungeon because he does nullify. There's Mind and Nerve. I believe he nullifies both of them along with Death. No, don't comply. Oh. She's not worth it, man. Chakra drops are real important. I wouldn't recommend giving those away to demons. Don't be like me. Don't just give your money away to pretty women. She wasn't even a Twitch streamer. Yeah, you want... Take the ladder. Thank you. I'm frustrated watching myself too. Watching myself play too, trust me. I'm real terrible at noticing things. This is something I brought up in previous parts, where I was hoping, where I gave the idea that demons, not all the time, I realize it shouldn't happen every time, but I mentioned I would have liked it if demons would come up to you and request to join your party. I didn't know that happened in this game, but apparently it does, and it just now happened. So thank you, SMT3. Thank you. She's gonna end up being a really good party member for this dungeon as well. I was terrified. I thought I was gonna skip that cash cube. That would have annoyed me. The silence effect only stops spells, by the way. Anything that costs HP instead of SP can still be used, I believe. If I'm remembering correctly, it's been over a week since I've done this. I recommend starting with the warehouse on the first level. This is the third level. And in this warehouse, we're going to see why I said it was a good idea to have this, I believe is the demon's name. This is going to be super useful for a specific fight in this floor. But I recommend going from, I believe it's white, red, green. In terms of like what killer keys you get. This is the green one because it's green. Yeah, all of these doors are locked. The reason I suggest that is because they get harder as you go down, and I started with the harder one. Go me. I'm a hardcore gamer. Emphasis on the myrrh. Use the small terminals, by the way. I shouldn't have to tell you this. I'm pretty sure you figured this out on your own, but the small terminals are very useful, and I am thankful the game places a small terminal in each warehouse. Actually, I think just the green and red ones, because I think the white warehouse is just a singular room, I believe. I don't actually believe. Abuse Bright and Dark Might when you can. It gives you guaranteed critical hits on your physical attacks, I believe. I don't know if it's just the regular normal attack, or if it's any physical, like the skills that cost HP as well. Especially if you know a boss fight's coming up, or a mandatory fight at the very least. Don't be afraid to just run around. Wait for the moon to change to new or full, depending on if you have Dark Might or Bright Might. Bright Might is full moon, Dark Might is new moon. And just, you know, the game gives you that ability. Use it to your advantage. Even if it will kind of lead you to... Even if it does lead you to more random encounters, I think it's worth it for the guaranteed crits to give you guaranteed half turns. I don't even think that demon wanted to fight. I think we just came across and beat it up for its lunch money. Remember those locked doors from earlier? Now you have to explore each door in the hopes of finding the Kaiwan. Of course, what's behind each door is entirely random. I'm not really sure how much Secunda is actually lowering the rain, but it seems to be working in this fight. I have fucking 200 IQ, by the way. I looked at these guys. I looked at them, and I said, they look like they know Mudo. So I cast Tetrajaw, and now Hama and Mudo will automatically not work. They know Mudo and Mamudo. Tetrajaw or Tetrajaw Rocks are your friend in this fight. In fact, I don't even think you really want to even waste time with Tarunda. I think they do use physical attacks, but I think they mostly focus on Mudo. You probably don't even want to focus on Tarunda or Rakukaja. Just focus on Tetrajaw. Here I thought I could get away with a 1 out of 4. I was like, they wouldn't use Mudo on the same demon twice, would they? And they did. Aramatama on his own, I believe, already has protection from death, so if he loses his void, his death void, he just keeps it anyway. I believe Evil Gaze counts as a nerve attack. Remember what I said about waiting for it to be a full moon or new moon, depending on if you have Dark Might or Bright Might? I could have ran around that. Well, it's not that I knew this room specifically had the boss fight, but still, it is optimal as much of a time waster as it is. I wonder if there's ever a way to drain death. I wonder what happens if that's even possible. It's probably mostly just immune or void. What would I have done if I didn't happen to get Dis? Whatever that demon's name is? I have Tetradraw rocks on me, so I could have just used one of those, but I didn't think about the Tetradraw rock specifically during this boss fight, but I could have used those. But yeah, try to get Dis, the one I just used. Although I don't think all of them know Tetradraw, I think I just got really stupid lucky. It just seems to be how it's been this entire playthrough. In some ways, the game's kicking my ass, but it's not doing it too hard. Even Matador, which took me 6 tries, and I won 2 of those, but had to redo it because I'm an idiot who doesn't check things. Besides Matador, I haven't... Oh, never give away Soma Droplet. That's super important. No matter what kind of demon asks for it, just keep the Soma Droplet. It is not theirs, it is yours, and you use it wisely. I figure now's a good enough time as any to point out that I have been this was originally a 3-hour session that I recorded, and the red floor really shows. Remember how I said I don't pay attention to things? That's gonna come back into play. Foreshadowing. Kill the healer. Yeah, he knows Mudo too. You know what that means. Tetradraw time. Here's where I remember I have those rocks. I'm not sure if they're available in a store. I'll check that in the next part. Air Needle has a chance of petrifying the enemy, and when you attack a petrified enemy, I don't know if magical attacks will do it too, but I do know physical attacks on a petrified enemy is an immediate kill. I will say, from what I remember about playing this game, I didn't find grinding too much of a problem, but that's just because the encounter rate is so high anyway. Take 2 steps, battle. Take 3 steps, battle. It's not that bad. I originally thought Mantra are gonna be the obvious bad guys because power, but I should have known with Shin Megami Tensei wasn't gonna be quite that black and white. It seems Mantra's all about murder and power and killing. Typical demon stuff. Nihilo seems to be more the law, and as that woman said, they're just, I guess, gonna try to get rid of emotions, make everyone the same. Something along those lines? Get used to this fight, by the way. They only use Beast Eye on the first turn. We'll be fighting a boss later who knows Beast Eye. What happened? Here's why you want to take advantage of Bright Might. You want to go to the right from the small terminal, by the way. For some reason, it takes me way too long to figure that out. Look who it is. This is when I kind of figure out I should keep Kikiri Hime in the bench, so that way she can heal from the bench without having to actually be part of the party. So that way she won't take damage or accidentally die from stray attack. She is going to be our bench warmer, and that's fine because she will be useful from there. Maybe even more so. Here's a demon that I think I probably should not have ended up getting. She didn't really end up working that well for me, but I mean, I already fused her, but I believed I fused at least one really good demon to make her. Because I remember her from Persona. It's like, oh, hey, it's Principality. I recognize her. She's probably going to be really good. No. Well, I don't want to say awful. Just didn't impress me in this part. Here's where I leave and heal up, I believe. Yep. Yeah, I cut out all the moments where I went back, because I went back to heal up a lot. Dungeons in this game will just drain you of your health. They will do their best to kill you. Heal whenever you get the chance. Also, hi, Bareth. It's mine now. Finders, keepers, losers, weepers. I believe there was a fight where I had gotten charmed. In fact, I think I remember getting charmed multiple times, which is when I inevitably put on the Magatama that was like, resist mind. Sorry, void mind. I also bought a lot of discharms just in case. The other good thing about having a lot of encounters is that you get a lot of money, a lot of maka. Not this time, honey. I know better. This game is all about being prepared for things you couldn't have prepared for. Not entirely true, but maybe not entirely false. I'm afraid to say the rest of this fight will go smoothly, because, yeah, there's that. accidentally hit one.
We're pressing his back up to the wall.
Oh, Heat Wave is kind of a brutal attack. I'm not entirely sure if it does actually get crits a lot more often than other moves, but it really feels like it. And there is Bareth defeated. Woo. Yo, dog. Thank you, dog. I appreciate the shit, dog. Here's where I'm going to be facing off against the white warehouse. You know, I'm going to be fighting the warehouse itself. Punch that wall. Anyway. We shall enter because I just came back from healing. That's what that cut was for. Oh, guys, look who it is. This will surely be an epic battle for the ages. I win. This is why you should start with this one, and then go to red, and then go to green. That's all 4 kills done. Pretty lengthy dungeon, but probably just because I went in without supplies. Go in with some medicine, some discharms, and also don't use the one where you're weak to force, or ice, or fire. Basically just use the one that makes you immune to mind and nerve, or just ailments in general, I believe. I'll have to double check that next part. Speaking of the next part, I shall see you then. I never want to do another post commentary as long as I can help it.